Coming up on this episode of Rebel Report, we recap the UNLV vs. Fresno State game. How did the Rebels fare against the Bulldogs?
Also, we'll take a look at how the Raiders fared against the LA Chargers.
And later, we take a look at a preview for the NBA draft, as well as the upcoming NBA schedule. Welcome back to Studio B on the campus of UNLV. This is the Rebel Report. I'm Steven Yance.
And I'm Ashley Dickinson. Before we dive into the local sports news of the week, we want to tell you what we're all about and what we hope to give you watching at home.
Every week for a half hour, we will cover UNLV athletics, the games, the events, the athletes, and coaches.
But we're also here to cover all major sporting events happening in Southern Nevada and tell stories you won't see anywhere else.
Let's begin with our top story. The Rebels faced off against the Fresno State Bulldogs in their third game of the season.
It takes place on this grand stage, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Mountain West action, 1-1 Fresno State, and 0-2 UNLV is the Rebels. And here comes the Rebels. 200 yards in that game. Hayner, play fake, broken play. Hayner into the open field. Jake Hayner trying to take this one in, and he does.
Lack of defense is the story for the Rebels in this one, where they gave up 490 total yards. After an early Fresno State touchdown, the Rebels answered with a rushing touchdown by Chuck Williams.
Touchdown, Rebels! The Chuck Wagon!
The Rebels would add a field goal and a touchdown before halftime, but gave up 2 Ronnie Rivers touchdowns and went into the half trailing 20-17. After another Ronnie Rivers touchdown and another field goal, Max Gillum broke off this 71-yard touchdown run. With the score tied at 27 going into the fourth quarter, the Bulldogs dominated and scored 13 unanswered points to close out the game. Max Gillum was a bright spot for the Rebels' offense, as he entered the game with 0 career rushing yards and ended the game with 139. He cemented himself as the starter going forward. The Rebels look to next week, where they take on San Jose State, who just beat the Aztecs. Head coach Marcus Arroyo praised the play of Max Gillum and said the team needs to do a better job going forward of executing in the second half.
Well, I mean, he's done a good job moving the football and coming to work out every week and being diligent in his study. This week, you know, he made some really big plays with his feet, which when they're playing coverage is something that we've tried to put in motion for him in regards to how he sees the defense. If they're not going to account for him, he can be a threat. We've got to stay the course, trust our process. We got to understand you can't win a game in a half or a quarter. You got to put a complete game together.
For Rebel Report, I'm Steven Yance. UNLV football is gearing up to play against San Jose State this weekend. Corey Barnes has a preview of this tough road matchup.
Despite the UNLV football team showing improvement and progressing each week, they still continue to strive for their first official win of the season. Due to this, will the Rebels be able to break San Jose Spartans' current unbroken record this weekend?
The Rebels tied with Fresno State in last week's game during the first quarter until losing the lead of a 40-27 final score. However, the Spartans maintained their winning streak with a 28-17 victory at San Diego State against their opponent, making them 3-0 for the season.
We still got a lot of work to do in order to put together a complete game, and that's the goal. We left a lot of things out there. We're not in moral victories. I can continue to say that, but transition and winning is hard, and it's got to be earned and executed. So we've got to stay the course, trust our process. We've got to understand you can't win a game in a half or a quarter. You got to put a complete game together with a ton of effort, attention to detail, brilliant little notes within the game and going into the game.
Although San Jose State leads the all-time series, UNLV has won 2 of their last 3 meetings. The UNLV Rebels are looking to secure consecutive wins for the first time in the series since taking 3 straight in 1992 through 1994.
We're not treating them like any other team, treating them like the same team. Just come in, execute everything, handle business, execute our details, and just play to the best of our abilities.
The UNLV football team will face off against San Jose on Saturday, November 14th. Make sure to tune in with Rebel Report and check our social media pages for the latest.
The Los Angeles Chargers went head-to-head last Sunday, and it came down to the wire. Here's Andre Parriso with a recap of the game.
Herbert will float it right side. It is!
The Raiders had a rough start with quarterback Derek Carr throwing 2 incomplete passes on their starting drive. But the Raiders defense was able to stop the Chargers, along with a missed field goal from kicker Michael Badgley from 48 yards. The Raiders came back onto the field, and running back Devontae Booker scored the game's first touchdown off a 7-play, 62-yard drive. The Chargers running back Kalen Ballage scored off a 5-yard rush to get the Chargers back into the game. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs responded back with a 14-yard rushing touchdown to regain Vegas' lead. The game would be tied again after Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen found space from a blown coverage from the Raiders defense. Things got worse when the Raiders had a turnover towards the end of the second period, which caused them to be down by 3 going into halftime. The game seemed to be out of reach during the third quarter when the Raiders scored 2 touchdowns from wide receiver Nelson Aguilar and tight end Darren Waller. However, the Chargers came back with a Badgley field goal and a touchdown from fullback Gabe Neighbors. The Raiders would score a field goal with 4 minutes and 37 seconds left in the game, but the ending seemed to be in the Chargers' favor. The referees reversed a touchdown call that would have given the Chargers the win, but tight end Donald Parham Jr. couldn't maintain possession of the ball on the way down, making it an incomplete pass. The Raiders won the game 31-26 after cornerback Isaiah Johnson prevented the Chargers from making the winning play. Vegas is currently 5-3 and in 6th place in the AFC as they continue to win more games to ensure a playoff spot. From Rebel Report, I'm Andre Paraiso.
The Raiders' next game will be at home against the Denver Broncos next Sunday at 1:05 p.m. on CBS.
Big news coming out of the Raiders organization last week. Due to multiple violations of the NFL COVID-19 protocols, the Las Vegas Raiders and head coach John Gruden were slapped with hefty fines. Multiple sources reported that last Thursday, November 5th, the Raiders organization was fined $500,000. They were also forced to forfeit a 2021 6th-round pick. Head coach John Gruden was also fined $150,000 as well. According to ESPN insider Adam Schefter, the fines stem from violations including Coach Gruden's improper wearing of a mask, as well as unauthorized access to the locker room that the team allowed in Week 2. The Raiders have in total racked up more than $1 million in fines due to violations of COVID-19 regulations this season. Team owner Mark Davis called the fines draconian in an interview with ESPN.
I'm just going to say very proud of our organization, how we have handled this entire protocol and this entire process. And I'm not going to comment any further than that. We, as I said last week, I believe we're on the cutting edge of being the best at servicing players. And I'll leave it at that.
Head coach TJ Otzelberger and junior guard Marvin Coleman discussed the upcoming season for the Runnin' Rebels.
And this astounding and unprecedented story continues to evolve.
You're all aware of the gravity of the COVID-19 crisis around the world and right here in Nevada.
Yeah, Chris, a light rain falling here is perhaps appropriate on the day that sports stood still.
In a time that seems chaotic, there are powerful calls for people to come together to make changes.
What's going on, everyone? Marvin Coleman here. 2020 has been an unprecedented year. With the conversations around social and racial injustices, the world has been impacted in a very meaningful way. This impact has been felt within our Las Vegas community and within our team. The Black Lives Matter movement and protests have sparked conversations around the world that are necessary and need to continue. These tough times have been amplified by the coronavirus pandemic. We hope that everyone is staying safe and in good health.
Marvin, with all the extra stress on athletes with school, practices, and the virus, has Coach utilized any type of support such as motivational speakers or a team psychologist during this time?
100%. Our coaching staff is phenomenal with making sure we're all good on and off the court. We have team meetings every single day. You know, we watch certain videos. We also just read the Kobe mentality book. You know, just trying to pick Kobe's brain. Reading what he did. We watch motivational videos every now and then. Probably I'd say once or twice a week. Just to make sure, you know, our mind is not always locked in on basketball and fixated on everything we have going on. Also, Dr. Casey here at UNLV is essential for all of us. You know, we don't all have to reach out to her every single day, but we just all know that, you know, she's there if we need her. So our coaching staff is great at making sure we all have everything we need on and off the court.
You mentioned we returned 3 starters, but that means there's 7 guys that were part of our rotation last year that aren't with us. So we're a younger team. In the time with COVID, we've had a lot of freshmen, 6 freshman players, 7 guys in our roster that haven't played college basketball at the Division I level. So to be able to get our process started and working with those guys, we're probably not exactly where we like to be, which I'm sure most programs are probably in a similar situation. But I think it's been adapting to a lot of new players and new personalities, putting all those together.
Big news out of college basketball. The NCAA Division I Council voted on Wednesday approving November 25th as the start date for college basketball.
You speak it down. We'll play ready. I do the whip, no X now. I got chips and Vicks now. My Luke can't kick it now.
Big news coming out of the Mountain West. The 2021 basketball schedule format has been revised. The Mountain West stated that the conference will move to a 20-game schedule, which will play out over 11 weeks within the context of state, county, and local guidelines. The new format has the Mountain West teams facing off in a 2-game series in the same week with 1-day breaks between contestants. Each school will have a 5-game home and 5-game road series, reducing the regular travel schedule by 4 weeks. The season is expected to begin in December and will conclude the last week of February. Coming up after the break, we will discuss the NASCAR season and take a look at the upcoming season on this week's segment of The Rundown.
Don't forget to check out our weekly podcast on Spotify. Every week we will break down all of the big stories happening in Las Vegas, including the Rebels, Raiders, Golden Knights, and much more.
NASCAR season has wrapped up. Joining me to talk about the season as well as looking forward is Kenny Jimison. Kenny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And what was your reaction to the championship?
So, as a Chase Elliott fan, I was obviously excited to see Chase bring home the championship for Hendrick Motorsports. You know, looking at the season, do I think that he necessarily earned it? Is a different question, but definitely excited to see my team bring home the championship.
And what do you want to see next season from them?
So next season, kind of like a buffer season until 2022, I feel for most teams, with the new car coming in 2022. So we're seeing new teams coming in as well as teams leaving, and I feel like it's just going to be, like I said, a buffer season for teams and drivers to just kind of close out this chapter of NASCAR. I hope next season with more road courses on the schedule that we'll see some more diverse racing, some more challenges for the drivers. as well as hopefully we'll see some change in the championship schedule next season. As we saw this season, the playoffs kind of didn't come out exactly how most expected, with Kevin Harvick, who had 9 wins, Denny Hamlin had 7, and neither of them coming home with the championship is just kind of, it brings into questions NASCAR's playoff system.
Right. And what a year for Bubba Wallace. What are your expectations for his next season as well as 2311 racing?
So for Bubba, it's a big advantage, a big chance for him to join this team with Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. It's kind of a big unknown. They are taking over a charter. We're assuming they're going to have some good alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, which will bring them some good cars. Bubba hasn't always had the best equipment, so this is really going to give a chance to see how he is as a driver. You know, is he as good as everyone says he is, or is he just a happens to circumstance? A lot of attention surrounded him this season, so
Yeah.
he's kind of a big name in NASCAR right now.
Definitely.
So a lot of attention is going to be on him next season as well as the new team.
Yeah, and hopefully he can kind of keep that momentum going and do well next season. Is there anything else you want to see for next season as far as racing?
Next season, a big question mark as well, I think it's going to be Kyle Larson to the 5, and with Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Larson is somebody who has always been stated to have a lot of talent. A lot of people feel that he was in underpowered equipment at Chip Ganassi. So this will be the real test for him. Will he be able to go out there and win in Hendrick Motorsports equipment, or is he going to go out there and just, not perform not necessarily not perform, but just underperform in equipment? Like I said, a big thing too with next season is just teams are waiting for 2022 with that new car. There's not going to be a lot of development next season. There's not going to be a lot of teams pushing the boundaries. They're going to be saving for 2022 to see, who's going to have the best chance in the new car. There's only been a handful of drivers who have tested it so far, and so, a lot of teams don't have information on it, and it's just, one last year to go strong with this car and this format, and before NASCAR gets a little bit of a reset in 2022.
Yeah, I think everyone is banking on 2022 to be the year.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you get to cover the NASCAR, and we'll see that story come out soon.
Thank you.
That will do it for this segment of The Rundown. Up next, some exciting news for the Golden Knights' newest ally.
I'm here at the Man in the Basin, where the Aces are down.
Speedway left more than your City National with a majority of the regular working out. Jen Marys coming into the audience.
And let's take a look at what they have to say. What does it mean for you to be selected to represent?
The NBA will be returning to action late next month. Rebel Report's Kenny Jimison has the details.
That's right, it's official. The NBA will be returning on December 22nd. The league managed to secure a deal with the Players Association on new rules for the upcoming season, allowing the teams to take court.
The teams will take the court just 71 days after the end of the last season, the shortest offseason in the history of the NBA, NHL, MLB, and NFL. The league announced teams will play a 72-game season, 10 games less than the average season. Full schedules were not released, but will be revealed in the coming weeks. Teams will start with the draft on November 18th, then teams can begin negotiations with free agents on November 20th, with signings starting on November 22nd. This is a quicker than normal process, but allows teams to get the job done quickly before training camp starts on December 1st.
Rebels basketball also starts 1 week after the NBA, so there will be plenty of basketball for you to get your fix in. Reporting for Rebel Report, I'm Kenny Jimison.
Contingency plans have been set for the NFL should the league's regular season fail to finish. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that NFL owners unanimously approved an expanded 6-team playoff. Each conference would get one new team into the playoffs. Under that proposal, the proposal would be put into place should the COVID-19 virus force an early end to the NFL season. The NFL had already expanded the playoff teams to 14 entering the season. This proposal would make it so that half of the teams in the league would make the playoffs.
The Vegas Golden Knights minor league affiliate, the Henderson Silver Knights, revealed their new uniforms this past Monday. Both sweaters feature multiple metallic accents from the names and numbers on the back to the forearms and bands across the waist, paying homage to the glitz and the glamour of the parent club in Vegas. The logo is front and center on the jersey with gold details throughout the jersey. The jerseys have 6 total colors: white, Henderson metallic silver, Henderson silver, Vegas gray, black, and Vegas metallic gold. Black and gold gloves with a black helmet will be worn at home, while white and gold gloves with white helmets will be worn on the road. The jerseys are currently on sale at the Arsenal at City National Arena, as well as the livery at Lifeguard Arena in Henderson, as well as VegasTeamStore.com.
The NBA draft is less than a week away. Rebel Report's Danny Smythe takes a look at the hopeful prospects.
The NBA will be holding their 2020 draft this Wednesday night. Currently, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, and Charlotte Hornets own the top 3 draft picks, but anything can change on draft night. All eyes will be on 3 big names of this year's draft: LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and James Wiseman. LaMelo Ball is a 19-year-old point guard from Chino Hills, California. Last season, he averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in 12 games in Australia's National Basketball League. He gained national and worldwide attention when he left high school during his junior year to play professionally in Lithuania. Now his sights are set on the NBA. Anthony Edwards is a 19-year-old shooting guard coming out of the University of Georgia. He played just 1 year for the Bulldogs, averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists in 32 games. Edwards has been compared to players in the NBA like James Harden due to his pull-up jump shots and his step-back shooting ability. He'll be looking to make a splash in the NBA this upcoming season. James Wiseman is another 19-year-old freshman looking to make his mark in the NBA next season. Wiseman is a 7-foot, 1-inch center coming out of the University of Memphis. He was only able to get 3 games under his collegiate belt due to off-the-court issues that caused him to be suspended. In the 3 games he played, Wiseman averaged 19 points and 10 rebounds per game. Unfortunately for these young stars, the NBA is going to be holding their draft virtually, so they won't get the full experience of draft night, but I'm sure it'll still be a night that they'll never forget. For Rebel Report, I'm Danny Smythe.
Tune in Wednesday night for the full NBA draft to see where the draftees will be playing in the upcoming season.
Coming up after the break, Rebel Report's Andre Paraiso will give us this week's pizza review.
I am a nurse,
a firefighter,
a college student,
a mother, and I am an American soldier. I will always be ready
for every storm
and disaster that threatens my community.
I will always be there to protect my neighbors,
my family,
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
It doesn't matter how you say it, as long as you say it often. Praise your child at least 4 times for every time you correct them, and you'll be on your way to raising a confident, caring kid. 4-to-1 Praise is just one of the many parenting tools from the experts at Boys Town. Visit boystown.org/praise to receive your 10 Ways to Praise magnet. It's a great reminder to keep it positive, and that helpful parenting advice is just a click away.
Everyone knows the rules, one bite only.
That's right. Here's Andre Paraiso with the pizza review from Mackenzie Rivers Pizza Grill and Pub.
All right, so we're here at Mackenzie Pub and Grill. We're here at Mackenzie River Pizza Pub and Grill. This is where the Vegas Golden Knights practice. It's where UNLV hockey plays at as well. And we're here for another pizza review. Everyone knows the rules, one bite only. Got cheese action going on. It's not bad, not bad. A lot of cheese on here. A lot of cheese. All right, so let's dive into it. Everyone knows the rules, one bite only. Not
It's a lot of cheese. A lot of cheese. The sauce and the cheese really mix well, but there's a lot more cheese. I give it an 8, 7, 8.
8?
Give it a 7 and 8.
That's a rookie score, bro.
Rookie score? That's not bad. I mean, it was better than the Hungry Howie's one, for
Yeah?
sure. I like how the sauce and the cheese mix. And, I mean, for me personally, I like the cheese actually. I give it an 8 at most. But yeah, this is it. Classic cheese pizza. We're here in Mackenzie River, Pizza Pub and Grill. The home of the Vegas Golden Knights here at Sydney National Arena, their practice rink.
If you haven't already, make sure to follow our website for more Rebel Report content. Our website can be found at www.rebelreportunlv.com. There you will find all of the articles and videos written and produced by our students, as well as exclusive stories you won't find anywhere else. That will do it for this episode of Rebel Report. Once again, I'm Steven Yance.
And I'm Ashley Dickinson. Thanks for stopping by and have a great weekend.